Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Soft My Jokes Don't Land. This is episode 12. How are you guys doing? This has been an exciting week. I just did this podcast like in the video format for the first time. I recorded it, I put it up, and it was very exciting. It is very good to see that so many people are liking it so far. I'll be posting new clips of this every other day of the week. So please stay around in on my YouTube channel. This is Ayan, as you know. For anybody who is new, I am a basic guy. I'm a filmmaker. My bio says I'm a nobody on this podcast, but trying to be somebody anyway. I feel there are lots of things that I find interesting that people are not talking about, and today is another one of those things. Today's episode is going to be all about video games, and I'll be talking about lots of video games. But before I even start anything, I just request that please like this video, share it. It helps for me. You guys have been very kind so far, and I hope it continues. I'll be keep on giving, so just please show some love, like this video, like the channel, subscribe to my channel, and also as I say, listen to the audio format on all platforms. For your benefit, I will be putting timestamps, and I think YouTube will figure out how to put those chapters. It's not working currently, but it will come out pretty soon, so don't worry. Also, if you're not interested in seeing, let's say, the full episode, at least try and see the clips. Anyway, you have been very good so far, and I'm very thankful that you guys are watching. And today's episode, like I said, is going to be pretty exciting. I'll be talking about video games. Video games are very big part of my life. I think ever since I was a child, I have played so many video games, and I'm going to be talking about a few of them today. And I hope you guys share some of your favorite games as well. I remember that after the last podcast, few of you also came back with your own stories and shared it with me. It was really good to see your experience as well. So like yesterday's, or like rather like the last episode, this time also I'll be asking that please send in your favorite video games, and I'll be trying them out as it goes. So thanks for coming to this podcast. We'll start it right now. So let's get started, guys. This is Some of My Jokes Don't Land. I am Ayan. Let's get started. Welcome back. Hi guys, what's up? I hope you made through the intro. Basically, I'm going to be talking about video games, and like I said, 60% of my childhood was just video games, and I'm pretty sure yours was too. Now, there's something that I've noticed very commonly, and that nobody really talks about, which is that there are lots of videos about kids growing up in the 90s and playing Mario and playing other stuff. To be very frank, when I started playing video games, Mario was almost gone. Like, I don't remember extensively playing Mario. So I was born in 98, so I have played games that have come out after that, and I feel that we don't talk about games and stuff that kids in the 2000s has played. Like, we see merch for Mario and other stuff, but Mario is like a internationally acclaimed huge thing now. Hence, there is so much merch, so much branding around it. But there are tons and tons of other games that I remember playing which were much after that Mario generation, and I think needed to be spoken about. And there are not many videos of people talking about it, so I thought, why not share my experiences. So first of all, I will start with games that I have grown up playing, and there are actually many, but I'll only talk about 4 or 5. And as I go, I'm pretty sure if you have not played any of these games, these are also going to be recommendations, because I can bet my life on these games because they're that good. And to be very honest, I'm not that guy that goes in and finds like the most obscure games and stuff. I only do those things with movies and sometimes music. But video games, I play all the like general modern shit. And growing up in India, there are only a handful of things you could find. And I'm pretty sure that 80% of India has played the same games around the same timeline. And I think that is going to help, because that's going to connect us like many other things. And right off the bat, The very first memory of games that I have is playing games on my home computer. I had an uncle who stayed with us and he had a computer, and obviously that was our home computer that existed ever since like I was in the lower grades, like before class 1 even. So I always had a computer and I always got to play games. Few games that I remember playing around that time obviously has to be Road Rash. Like, I don't enjoy racing games, but Road Rash was such a good game. I can't even tell what experience it was. Obviously we only had one PC and we sat around, all my friends, and we played Road Rash. My most favorite moment was when you could kick somebody. I think you had to press enter. Also, I think you could do another missions and stuff, and you could get those bikes that had nitros and stuff. It's very, very great. I think every Indian, or I think it's an Indian thing, I don't think it's very famous outside, or it might be, I'm completely clueless about that. But anyway, I have played that and it's genuinely one of the most entertaining things. Now this might be that we had no other options back then and it was the only game that most of us played, but Road Rash is a game that everybody I have spoken to has played, and I feel it's a thing now for our generation. It's a great game for anybody who is unaware of it. Basically, you play as a biker. It's very bad graphics. Like, I think the game came out in late 90s or sometime. I'm not sure about it. And you just had to race. It's a racing game. But the most fun part about it that I have never seen attempted ever again is that it's not a racing game. So because it's a racing street race, police will follow you and you have to kick them. You can press enter, and it will kick the police or anybody who comes close to you. So you get to throw somebody off the bike, and that was, I remember, the most enjoyable part of our days because it was very, very great. Also, I remember that my uncle once told me that you could play two people on LAN and they used to do it in office. And that was most fascinating thing because if I never got to play with a friend, so it was always we had our turn and we would play against the computer. I don't know if there exists also like a second thing or maybe multiplayer option exists, I don't know about, but it was very cool. Also, when I'm talking about a game, the entirety of it, like the music in the lobby and the lobby art and the scenes that would come when you lose, all those very graphic 90s cartoonish graffiti-ish things that would come, like the visuals were pretty great and very memorable for today's date and age, because today's day and age games come out, they don't have a very distinct sense of style that differs from someone else. Often you see that they overlap somehow, but back then those games were very distinctive. Like, I have never seen graphics, not like the art that would come in when you lose or when you win. Those things are very, very different, and that has never happened. Like, I have not seen in any other game in that extensive way. Anyway, so that was Road Rash. One of my most favorite thing in Road Rash was sometimes you would kick someone and that guy would have a chain, and you could take that chain, you could take that bat and hit the guy back, and that was, I think, very, very distinct memory that I have of playing the game. Another game that I'll be speaking about now is obviously it has to be another very popular game, which was Dave. I know Dave is a very old game, but I remember, and I'll only be speaking for a very short amount of time for it. I remember when for a period of 3-4 days we didn't have electricity, and I was so mad for somehow something might have happened. And when it came back, the first thing I remember is that all of our friends got together and we started playing Dave. I think there are other existing games as well, but Dave was very simplistic. You just had, it's a very 2D game. It can fit on your phone now. It's that small, but it's very interesting and I'm pretty sure everybody has played. I remember playing it a lot. I didn't enjoy it much because there are many other games, but I remember playing it a lot. Anyway, there is another small game similar to Dave that I played while growing up. It's known as Icy Towers. I don't know if you remember. Similarly, it's a 2D game. You just have to press space and a guy would jump and move up a tower, and slowly it would get faster and faster, time, trouble and other stuff. So I remember that I would play these games and it would be a blast. Like, I would come from school and I would play these games and it was very interesting. Also, I feel Dave was in a school computer. and that was very interesting. But because our school was always diligent to not keep any extra bullshit, but they missed on that occasion and we capitalized on it, and it was a very good thing because we got to play games in our childhood in school. I know nowadays many people do, they just take it there, but back then I didn't have CDs, I didn't have pen drives to carry it. And this is like, I'm talking about when I was the first grade, I had no idea how to do those things. But it was very exciting because there was that game that we got to play there, and same was like Icy Towers that I was speaking about. It was very interesting and fun. Also, we had friends, and only I had a computer back then, so people would come and we would play those games, and it would be really exciting. Like, we would spend all our afternoons and stuff. Now, these games were mostly games that I played with my friends around. Now I'll be speaking about a few games that I played alone, and these were my very individual experiences from my childhood. And I'm pretty sure you guys are much aware of these games. First game that I'm going to talk about is known as, it's called IGI. And I don't know if you're aware of IGI, but it stands for I'm Going In. It's a very first person game. It's a secret agent who has to get into a building and do missions. Like, basically it's a first person. It was a third person, I think. No, I feel it was a third person for few moments, but I think mostly it was a first person game. I don't remember also now, see. But it was very interesting because this was my first, I think, those kind of action games, and that is something which is very distinct. It's a distinct memory from my childhood because now came like the original levels. This was, I think, my first story based game where there was a story, there was a conclusive thing. Before this, games I played were mostly like small 2D games, mini clip games. I don't know if you remember mini clips. Anyway, so that was it. I think this was my first story based game and I enjoyed it. Like, I played so much. Also played IGI 2 after it came out, and IGI 2 was also very interesting. Also, I have a friend who claimed that he played IGI 3, but there's no game such as IGI 3. We have made fun of him ever since, and I'm going to point it out again on this episode. I'm pretty sure anybody who knows that guy knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, moving on. So IGI was another of those games. Now coming to the next two games are probably the games that I've played the most. Like, I can't even say how much I've played these games, and I really love them. Okay, before IGI also, I used to go to my brother's house, elder brother's house, and he had introduced me to this very exciting game, which till this day I feel is the best game, story-wise, for me at least, is Max Payne. Max Payne is one of the greatest games ever created according to me. For anybody who is unaware, it's basically a detective story, and there's basically gunfight and action. Like, if you have seen John Woo films, you will know what gun fu is. Like, it's John Wick before John Wick kind of thing, but he only like shot people, like randomly he would shoot. He would not go and fight people. So that's it. Max Payne is an insane game. Like, I remember being scared when I played it because it was really scary for a child. There was blood involved, there was mafia, other stuff. It was not a horror game. It was a violent game, but it was not horror. It was basically a shooting, killing kind of game. And the most popular thing about Max Payne that still holds is that back then there were multiple games that had like the shooting concept, first person or third person shooting thing, but what Max Payne introduced was bullet time shooting. So basically everything would slow down, but you could still like point your cursor in real time, so you got a benefit for shooting because you would be much more precise. And basically it's a bullet time effect. Like, it has been copied multiple times in multiple games, multiple movies. Also, back then the game came out in 2000, and in 99 Matrix came out. Matrix also had this slow-mo bullet kind of a thing, and hence it was very popular, this thing. And even today, anybody who has played Max Payne only remembers it for that bullet time thing. There's a shitty movie that Matt Damon did. I think again that thing Mark Wahlberg did called Max Payne. Please never watch it. It's shit, and don't judge that game from that movie. Again, Max Payne was a great game, and most important part was the bullet time. Also, a very important part of the entire experience was the story. My god, what a story. Even if you are not going to play a Max Payne game, please go to YouTube and look for the story. There are just the story breakdowns. I can't even tell how much depth there was in the story, how many kinds of things you got to see. Basically, a detective comes home and finds that his wife and uh, a little daughter has been killed by the Italian mafia, and then it's his journey to take revenge and stuff. Basically, that looks like that, but the way they have showed it, first of all, it was like a fictional novel. The game is, I think, is a neo noir kind of a game if you see the theme of the game. And the story based in New York, it's very gritty, very dark, and there are certain sequences that I don't think children should play, because there are dream sequences, there are where he gets dizzy, and these sequences are very impactful. And I think I played them, and that's why I was scared, because I was unaware of what was going on. I didn't get a grasp of the story back then. I played it later again, and that's why I got grasp of the story. But that's the main thing. I think it's a very, very, very fantastic story, first of all. Similar thing goes for Max Payne 2. It's the extension of the game. A few more characters were added, I think. Mona Sachs. Yeah, Mona Sachs was the love interest who was in the second part. I think also in the first part she got introduced, but she was mostly in the second part. Who later became a love interest. And the graphic novel styles of the cutscenes. There are no cutscenes, there are graphic novel type sections. It was very, very good. No game has come close to giving me that experience. There are multiple things wrong with the game. Like, it was obviously graphically, it has not aged that well. Even though I would like to say something, I recently saw videos of the gameplay, and the character graphics has not it doesn't hold up now. But I feel the textures and the environment still hold up, like to a very small extent. Like, you can still pass it off somehow. And the bullet time thing is a champion. It's never going to go out of fashion and stuff. So that way I feel it's really, really great. If you see the story of the game, just the story, don't have to play the game, I'm pretty sure you're going to be impressed and you will think of playing it at least once. Now, given there's another point to this, which is that the third part that came out was actually much more advanced in graphics and stuff, but I hated the story. I didn't like it as much. I even played like half of it and I stopped it, because it was first of all in the day, and Max Payne for me has always been a game that is night based and indoor. The experience of playing it in the outdoors and a different city was something that I couldn't get used to, and hence I feel that there it lost me. But Max Payne 1 and 2, best games for me to play. Like, can't even tell you how much I like it. I'm pretty sure I had a poster in my room that is not there now, obviously, because I don't stay here much. But Max Payne, hands down. If you are taking recommendations, anyone, please play Max Payne if you still haven't. The music theme, background scoring, everything, even the texts, styles, everything together as a package was so good. Like, it's still vividly in my brain, like I said. So that was it. That was Max Payne. Now I think there are two more games, but I would be only speaking about one, which I have played mostly in my childhood, which is GTA Vice City. Now, GTA games are very, very exciting. In this lockdown, I actually finished GTA 5. I had started it very, very long ago. I never got to finish it, but I finished GTA 5. I would come to GTA 5 later. But let's start from GTA Vice City. GTA Vice City is actually my first experience with GTA games, and it is one of the most memorable part of my childhood, because I think GTA I have played the most, because it was an open world game, so you didn't stop after the story finished. Even though I enjoyed playing the story part, I mostly ventured out and I would do other shit and stuff that everybody did while playing GTA. And GTA Vice City, for anyone who doesn't know, anybody who doesn't know about GTA, first of all, they take an actual city from the real world, mostly in America, all it from America, and they just make a rough version of it and you get to do your missions there. Vice City was based around Miami, and it was that theme. I think one of the most important part of any GTA game is basically its music, and the music is very much derived from the situation and locality that the main character is from. And I remember the in Vice City, I think the radio or the music where you listen to those things, uh, basically where your main source of music was the radio while you drove cars, the radio channels that you could flicker through them. And I think GTA Vice City had the best radio, for according to me. They had Michael Jackson songs and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. The whole theme of the game was really nice. And we pretty much, like, I actually was playing this game with a friend who stayed nearby, and we pretty much did all the levels once or twice. Once he did, once I did, and it was too much fun. And this was the first game where I started making mods. Like, I started creating mods, I started implementing mods. I remember we found a very good glitch. So what we would do is that there are sets of cars and bikes on the game, and we would get bored of it. I would try to replace cars with other stuff, and it is very possible. There are softwares you could do these things around with. And there was a very distinct thing that happened, and there was a glitch that happened. What happened was that we replaced a police car with a bike, because somehow it would glitch and it would just spin in an abyss. Like, there's nothing and it would just spin. And when it spun, I don't know if you have played any GTA games, anytime you do a stunt you get money. So it would just spin randomly, and we would just keep collecting cash. And I remember that became a very prominent part of playing the game. They would just spin the bike in this thing. We just had to throw it in the water and it would start spinning. And I remember that was a very good thing, because I remember we spun so much, we had enough money to buy a house in GTA, and it was so much fun. And I think GTA Vice City for me still has the best experience, because I have played it the longest. I think more than 3 years I have played it, because there's nothing else to play basically. That's the reason I played it. And another important thing about GTA Vice City was that the cheat codes. Cheat codes are a big part of GTA, and I still can, like, without seeing the keyboard, type almost 50% of the cheat codes from Vice City. I have played it that much. We were so bored at one point of time that our main aim would be who could type the cheats faster, and that's how we proceeded with the game. And I think that will give you a pretty good idea of how much I have played this game. Anyway, the other game that I was talking about, which almost made it to this list, was actually San Andreas. I feel San Andreas is the best GTA game. GTA 5 comes close, and for me, because of nostalgia, Vice City is great. But GTA San Andreas is a great game. I would speak a little bit about it. Okay, chalo. I feel it is the best game. Like, the map is the best. I think they have just developed the map for GTA 5, but it's almost the same map, only few changes. And it's actually really great. Like, I don't have any complaints about the game. The story is good. Only thing is the graphics was, obviously it's dated now, but back then it was pretty cool. I remember the PC I had, it didn't run San Andreas. We got another PC and that started running GTA, and it was a great experience. Like, the music was not my favorite, but it was really good for what it was. And that's the thing. Music is a very important part of my gaming experience. I don't know about you guys. I think you guys see other stuff, but those were the things. So basically, those were the games that I played in my childhood. I'm pretty sure I'm missing one or two, but they were not important. Like, if you don't remember it, it doesn't matter, right? Let's see. So that was for this section. I feel these were my games. These were the games that I played in my childhood, and I really enjoyed it. I think they have developed and shaped me in a certain way. I think so. Let's see what happens. And that's it. I think that's all for this. Now I'll be talking about a very important aspect of gaming, which is very popular nowadays. Yeah, so what I wanted to speak about was that nowadays lots of games are played online. Like, we have our PUBGs, we have our Valorant, we have so many games like Call of Duty and other stuff. Also smaller games like Minecraft, Fall Guys, Among Us, anything that's in hype now. Now, I really enjoy playing these games. Okay, really enjoy it, because they give you quick entertainment. You can play one match with your friends, and the multiplayer options are the best part. But if any day you ask me what would you prefer, these kinds of online games or story-based games, I would pick story-based games. Now, for me, it's this, and there's a very obvious reason for it. I eventually want to become a filmmaker, and story and everything matters a lot to me, so that's one of the reasons. Another reason is that the whole experience of playing a story based game where you take a character, you go through their journey, see the world around them, and it's a very personal experience for you as well. And I really enjoy that part of the game. Recently, the game that is like the best thing that looks visually appealing to me is Ghost of Tsushima. If you are aware of it, PewDiePie was playing it, so everybody was playing it basically, and it looks so beautiful. I want to play it, but I haven't purchased it. I'm waiting if there's a crack for PC, if it ever comes out. Let's see. Also, I'll buy it pretty soon. Let's see what happens. And that's the thing. Those kinds of games really fascinate me because I have always been a story-based game guy. And I have played lots of Call of Duty. I have not played Valorant. I have played a little bit of Fall Guys. And for some reason, I have completely missed out on PUBG. I've only played 3-4 games, but when it was popular, when it was getting popular, I was not much into gaming. So sadly I missed it. Like, my brother plays these games every day, and every day I try to explain how beautiful story based games are, and he has completely made a wall against those games because he finds them boring. And also I get it completely why he finds it that way, because it's a solo experience. PUBG, Valorant and other stuff that I mentioned, you could play with your friends, and it's a very good experience, bonding experience, and not everybody is looking for a story or a feeling or a memory out of a game like I am for some reason, I don't know. And I completely understand that, and even I enjoy it. But still, if you ask me any day of the week what is your favorite kind of game to play, it is surely going to be a story based game. Like, even GTA and other stuff count. Also, many of the games that are story based also have multiplayer options. Like GTA is a story based game at the end of the day, and there is multiplayer option. Also, Ghost of Tsushima, you can play co-op, you can play Red Dead Redemption co-op. These are very interesting games that you could also play co-op with your friends. But I also enjoy the story based part, and I think I enjoy it much more. I played lots of online games with my friends and with my brother, like I said. It is super fun when you get to discuss who is the imposter in Among Us or the other stuff, or play Fall Guys, like I said. But there's a very special part of me, like, to be really honest, Ghost of Tsushima looks so beautiful, and it's all about Japan and stuff, things I like, and that's why I feel it's a great game. And these things like the environment building and stuff also inspires me a lot about the craft of filmmaking that I want to achieve, and I feel that way I really enjoy it. Also, I've started learning 3D and stuff, so I get the textures, I get the sculpting and rendering and other stuff, so that way these games fascinate me more. Because in PUBG, I mean in Valorant, you get a map and you play. Back in the day I used to play Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, everything that was possible online. I completely get it that there is a separate excitement to those things, and I had those things as well. Like, I had those excitements, but it's very near and dear to my heart, like these games, that story based games I'm speaking about. Like, all the games that I'm going to recommend now are mostly going to be story based games, which I have always loved and cherished. And also I'll be recommending a few more that is coming, like, that are not yet out but I feel are going to be great. Also, talking about recommendations, don't forget to stay till the end. I'll be recommending few video game based movies, also some music from video games only mostly. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that's my stance on story games versus, let's say, online game. And also, I'm not a very active gamer. Like, I would pick a game, I'll finish it, and I'll, let's say, not play another game for 6, 7, 8 months. And I'm not a pro gamer that way as well, but I'm a very big fan of video games in general. Like, there's so many games that I want to play and I have not tried yet, and so many fascinate me that way. Also, I play like all those games that I'm talking about, like Among Us, Fall Guys and other stuff. They're very interesting. But to end on this note about the the perspective that I have about these two types of games is that story based games, for me, like I said, takes you to a journey along, like a character's life or a character's descent or ascent, let's say anything. And I think that for me is very helpful when it comes to developing my craft. I can get how to write stories from it. I can get like the cinematics part, the music part, the dialogue part. Nobody notices that if dialogue is good in a film or not. But when you're reviewing a game or anything, like if you're even playing a game, you are a casual gamer. I feel these are things that include to the experience of the game, and I feel these are necessary things that need to be taken care of while making a game. And nowadays, most of the games do. Few of the games that I was very excited in and they didn't turn out to be that good for people all around the world was Death Stranding. Like there's so much hype for such a long time, and finally not many people enjoyed it because it's a very slow, thorough game that you have to invest. And I feel that's where we lose sometimes, because there's such a competitive gaming industry for games like Fortnite, PUBG, Valorant, that nowadays nobody has the time to sit and play a 80 hour, 60 hour long game. And I feel that is something that is not going to end very soon. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a very big market for story based games that last for 80 hours, 60 hours. But I feel slowly the demand is getting less, and I'm not very good. I don't feel very good about it. Let's hope like people also give story based games a chance and they also get a part of the competitive side. I don't think it's possible to have a competitive side to it. You can do smaller sections of stuff, but I don't think you can play a competitive 80-hour game. Obviously it's not possible. You can do speed runs though. Who can finish it fast? I'm pretty sure it can be done, but it would take a long time. It won't be as comparable to a exciting PUBG match or an exciting Valorant match, or let's say Among Us or stuff. Nowadays lots of people stream those things and I also love them. I was just playing Fall Guys with my brother. I was also playing Rocket League. Rocket League is very exciting. But that's it. I still prefer the story based games over these things. Okay, so now I'm going to recommend games to you guys. These are few of my most favorite games of all time. This is basically a list of my favorite games of all time, right from the day I was born to right now. So from my previous list, I would recommend all the games. Like, I would recommend you play IGI. I would recommend you play Max Payne 1 and 2. You can also play GTA series, like the two games like I said, and also play Max Payne. Max Payne is very important. I feel you should play. Everybody should play Max Payne at least once. And a few other games that I really enjoyed is the Dark Knight games, or rather the Batman games. The Batman games, the original Batman games are very cool. So please check them out. I'll be putting, I think, the actual posters of these on the side, and you guys can get the actual idea. I don't remember the exact name, so I'll be putting it out later on post. So do check them out. Another game which is very good according to me is Red Dead Redemption 2. I enjoyed 1. I didn't actually play all of it. I just played through and I later saw the story and other part. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably the biggest game out there. Like, I think everything, if you compare, it's the biggest game. The map is so big, the story is good, and there's so many things you can do. You can fish in Red Dead Redemption 2. You can fight a bear, you can make soup also, I feel. I don't remember. Yes, you can do it. And that's the thing about it. There is so much to do that it kept me occupied like for a very long time. And I didn't get bored. And also there is something about soothing games where you can just do nothing and chill around and have fun. Those things are really exciting for me somehow, and I really enjoy them. Because mostly I play games alone, and that's how I tend to choose what kind of games I like. If there is a lot of things to do and you can just take your time and chill around, those are the games that I really enjoy. And hence Red Dead Redemption 2 specifically is a very great game according to me. Another game that I would recommend for anybody to play is Death Stranding. Death Stranding is a game that I have played so much. Like, I really enjoy playing the game and it is really fun. Basically you have to make deliveries in this hyper future kind of a, also post-apocalyptic or some other planet, anything that you can call it. And it's really long, but it fits the right kind of games that I want to play, and that's why I really enjoy it. I'd recommend please play this game. Another great game which is often considered to be the greatest game of all time is Half-Life 2. and I would say it's a very good experience playing the game. So I would recommend you to play this game because obviously the story is great and it follows through. They also promised a Half-Life 3, but it never came out. This year they came out with Half-Life Alyx, I think after more than 15 years of waiting. And it's a completely VR game, but it's a great game. Anybody who wants to play Half-Life 2, please go out there, purchase it, steal it, borrow it from somewhere, but please get the experience. I feel it's really good. Everybody should have that experience. Some of my other favorite games are actually sports games. Now FIFA, I'm a very big follower of football, and FIFA is a game that I play more than any other game. Like if there's a game which is the first on my new PC or new desktop or new console, anywhere I'm going, the first game on that list would be FIFA, because it's a very casual game. You get to play with your favorite football stars from all around the world, and it's really exciting for anybody who follows football and is very passionate about it. You can take the manager mode, you can take a player mode, you can just play random games with your friends online or like simultaneously with the same or different controller. It's really fun. Anybody who enjoys FIFA, I feel, is a great person. I enjoy FIFA a lot. All my friends do too. We play so much. Like in our hostel, we would play so much of FIFA. Like we'd spend the whole night playing FIFA. Basically, that's it. So basically, those are few of my most favorite games of all time. Include in that list Max Payne, IGI, like I said. Also, I think I'm missing on some other games which I should have spoken. Also, another game that I would like to speak about, which many didn't like, was Watch Dogs. Now, I enjoyed Watch Dogs a lot. I don't know about you guys, but Watch Dogs was a very good experience for me. The new game, which is Watch Dogs Legion, which is coming out very soon, looks very good, and I am very excited about the game. So please let me know if you are also looking forward to it. Also, for anybody who has stumbled upon this podcast and has no idea of what games to play, please talk to me. I would recommend you stuff. I'd find what you like and I would give you a customized and very specific game that you should play. Also, I don't dive into very indie games and stuff, like very small games, so I'm not aware of the indie game market, but it's a very booming thing, and that is actually the next topic that I'm going to speak about. But before that, let me just recall if I'm missing something. Is there any game that I'm missing? Yeah, few horror games that I've played are really good, which is that I played Outlast. Outlast is a great game, like horror experience wise, it was pretty good. Also, Pacify is another co-op game that you can play online. It's also good. I have played that game. What other horror game? Resident Evil I have not played much, but I have seen gameplays and stuff and they look very good. And also Amnesia, which started everything, like the horror genre, I feel is a great game. I've played a very few retro games like Wolfenstein and Doom, but I remember that when I was playing them I didn't enjoy it that much, so I wouldn't recommend. But I know for many people it still holds up and I feel that is good and I have no problem with it. But those are my things. Those are the games that I would recommend. Like I said, I'm not a very in-depth, detailed player of games, nor am I very professional about indie game markets and stuff. I'm just a casual game fan and I just wanted to speak about them. So those were my recommendations. Now I'd be speaking about a very interesting topic which is very important, I feel, which is the future of gaming. Now I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but there's a very good episode on Patriot Act. I also recommended a Patriot Act episode from my last episode, but again this episode I'm recommending another one. It should also be part of the later recommendations thing that I do. And Hassan Minhaj did a episode on video games, and if you see that, you would find out that the video game industry financially overtakes so many other industries that you are not even capable of thinking. You can combine sports, you can combine movies, you can combine music industry all together in a bundle, and still the gaming industry is very far from them, like compared to revenue wise, like they're so much higher. And this is something we don't imagine. Like you compare Messi, Ronaldo, you compare like Drake and other rich musicians, you take let's say Conor McGregor or other stuff, anybody who is a very good fighter, and fighters earn the more. Anything you take, you combine them together, still the whole of video game industry is much more bigger and richer in profit and valuation than those industries combined, and this is something we don't really think of. The video game industry is actually very, very booming, and there's a very big reason for it. First of all, the demand for games have increased with more internet everywhere. Like, let's say India got the Geo and other stuff, and also many other parts of the world are getting proper good internet after a very long time now, and that's why they are getting introduced to new games, specifically games like PUBG and other stuff, not the story based games. Like I said, these are games that you can play online with your friends, co-op and other stuff. These games are getting more and more demand, and that's why there is a very, very, very good chance that more games like this will come out from the video game industry, and we are yet to see the full bloom of the gaming industry. Now, when I'm speaking about the gaming industry, you have to know another thing, that gaming industry is not about creating a game. There are people who act in the game, there are people who do the coding, there are people who do the visual effects and the 3D modeling, environment building. There's so many layers of profession in this industry you can't even imagine. So if you guys are looking to get into video game development and stuff, I feel it's a very good opportunity for you guys. Even I am learning video game development using Unreal Engine and Unity because it's a very great platform to learn also. Also, the internet is filled with stuff where you can learn about these stuff, so please go ahead and try to learn, because it will help you. If you are in a creative field, it will help you in so many ways, because something that goes very unnoticed for everybody is that games utilize everything. They utilize 100% of your PC. They utilize your displays, they utilize your speakers, your graphics, your processor, everything they utilize, and it's a very let's say whole around a very total experience that you get from games. And also with the introduction of VR and other stuff, I feel it's going to get to more places that it couldn't go before. So what I'm saying is that you can contribute to each and every specific part of it. You can just make music for it, you can just do character modeling or environment building or coding, or let's say writing dialogue, writing story. These are things that are going to be necessary and people are not considering it. Especially for the Indian market, Indian game development is a sleeping giant. I feel there are so many smaller industries that are coming more and more, and I feel there are going to be more jobs in this industry. So if you want to get hold of these jobs, I will suggest please start learning anywhere. Start from YouTube or anywhere. If you're interested in the gaming industry, then only do it. I'm not forcing you guys to do anything, but I think this is an observation that I have made, and I can foresee it happening pretty soon. Because with the requirements from the public all around the world, it's going to happen anytime. Like, it's a matter of when, not where or how. It's when. It's going to happen in India only. And also with the financial investments that you are getting in, like, I don't know if you are aware of it, the last month or so, Geo got so much funding for like major 6 or 7 big market industries, and I'm pretty sure that Geo, if not Geo, with the attraction of other foreign companies and other stuff, I feel the gaming industry would boom also, because gaming is mostly profitable. It's very rare to see a failing gaming industry, because most games work if you put that much effort into it. Obviously, big players like Rockstar Games or let's say Bethesda or any other big name gaming companies are always good and they're always profitable. So if you can get hold of these things, I feel you can easily like get a job somewhere, but they have to come to India and form their market and stuff that way. So I feel it's going to be great. If you are interested in gaming, please learn it. There is so much to do. You can become a character developer, you can become a coder, you can become the guy who provides music, dialogue, character modeling, like I said, so many things. Environment building is a great tool, like great asset actually for game building. And there are not many artists available, so if you're good at it, if you think if you have a sense of aesthetics, sense of direction, filmmaking, these things help while you're making a game, because game engines are so powerful. I'm learning them and they can be utilized in so many ways. So So that is where I feel the future of gaming is going. If you're considering technologies, what are the technological advancements that we are yet to see? AR and VR are the key components that is going to make a mark in the industry. Obviously, they have started with the games and stuff, but I think there is so much more to come. I'd be making a video on AI, and I'll talk about how AI is helping in game development and stuff in that episode. But for a brief thing, with the development of a better AI and with the development of better, let's say, AR and VR components, you can implement games in your real life with the help of VR glasses that you can just put on your face, like this glasses, like those. You won't have those bulky things anymore. It's coming pretty soon. Many companies are developing them. So I feel in that way, that is one of the key futures. Another is with the development of hardware, with the introduction of graphics cards like RTX 3090 that recently came out. Ray tracing and other concepts are going to be really effective in these things. We can now do 8K gaming in 60 FPS, which was not possible, like at least to even think like 10 years ago. Like if 10 years ago you'd say you can game 8K in 60 FPS, it would be let's say, people might call you mad. It would be seen as a possible development, but nobody would talk about it, and 2020 we have it. Another great development for gaming industry is the concept of streaming games. Now, for anybody who is not aware of streaming games, it's very similar to streaming movies. Like you have Netflix that can let you stream movies from a Netflix server which is located somewhere in India or somewhere in America. You can now stream games. And how does it work, you say? So basically, for example, Google Stadia is a platform where you can purchase a controller. And even though you don't have a PC, all you need is the Stadia app on your, let's say, smart TV and a good internet connection, and you can stream the game. So basically it's happening that the controller is providing information to those servers and to Google Stadia, and they're connecting the game, let's say, on a random virtual cloud PC, and the game is running there, and you are just getting a screen share. Like you screen share on Zoom, it's similar. So the game is running on that PC, you are just getting a screen share, but the latency is so fast that you can control the game in real time. And that's how you can stream games. Every company out there has come out with a streaming platform for games. Stadia is for Google, there is one for PS5, Xbox also I think has a cloud. So there are more advancements yet to come in the gaming industry, but these are the three key things that I feel are going to be key and important in future, and more development could be done on them. I'm pretty sure something new will come like tomorrow, and all our expectations will be shattered, but these are, I feel, are the key things which is going to happen in the advancement of the gaming industry. Okay guys, so that was basically everything that I had to say about gaming or the gaming industry in general, and I feel you guys could have taken some from it, could have not taken anything, but I hope you guys listened and hope you guys enjoyed. Now I'm going to give you a few recommendations of films, documentaries and other stuff that I feel you should watch related to the gaming industry. And right on the top, like on the top of that list, is a very good film known as Ready Player One, directed by Spielberg. Now for anybody who is unaware of it, I'm not going to say anything. Just go head right on to the film, and it's a great experience. It's a great watching experience. Also, there is a book known as Ready Player One. If you're interested, please read that one. Next thing that I would recommend is that episode from Patriot Act, which is based on video games and stuff. You would be getting visual cues for everything, so no worries. Even if I don't say the names correctly, please go and check them out. The Patriot Act episode on video games was really good and really insightful, so I feel you should check it out. My third recommendation related to films or things related to video games is Bandersnatch. Bandersnatch is an individual solo film of the Black Mirror series. It's a really interesting because it's a game in itself, and it's also about the gaming industry, so I feel it's a good watch that you can have. Now I will try to look for few films which are taken from video games and which have stood the test of time, because there are multiple films, like I said, the Max Payne film, which is pretty shitty, and it's always comes out that movies that are based on games always turn out to be shit sometimes, actually most of the times. And I feel that there are only few, and I'll try to look for them and I'll see if I can find them. Okay, so I see things like Assassin's Creed, I see Tomb Raider. These are things that I wouldn't recommend because everybody knows they're not that good. Something else. Hitman, I think, did a good job. Hitman series of games is also something I would recommend you to play. And the first Hitman series film, which I think had Timothy Olyphant as the main Hitman agent, is a really good film for me. Like, I watched it way back ago, but I feel it's a good film. You can see it. Tomb Raider, I don't think I'll recommend, but it's your call. I think Lara Croft Tomb Raider starring Angelina Jolie might still be worthwhile because of Angelina Jolie, but I don't think the film is great. And the new one with Alicia Vikander, I think her name is, that's not good, I have heard, so I would not recommend you. Also, if you count Spider-Man as a game and Spider-Man as movies, so there are Spider-Man movies that you can check out. All the Spider-Man games for the PS4 and stuff are really good, really awesome. I feel you guys should check it out. To be honest, I don't see much Tron as a game. Mortal Kombat films. Mortal Kombat is a very, very old game that turned out to be a very cult classic thing. I have also played Mortal Kombat and it's good actually. So that way I would suggest watch the first Mortal Kombat movie. It's a good watch and I'll recommend you do it. What else, man? I don't see anything. What else? Sci-fi. Let's see what's on sci-fi. Okay, those are the same names that's coming over and over again. I think that's going to be all for this week. I think watch those things, like I said, watch that Bandersnatch movie, watch Ready Player One, watch the other stuff I said. Don't watch Max Payne, please. I would suggest don't. But I think few of you might still do it because it might look appealing to you. I didn't get the movie. That's my opinion. But yeah. Now that was the movies stuff. Wait. I'm forgetting one documentary that I had to suggest about gaming. I would suggest it. Gaming documentary. Oh, and it's on Netflix also. Our favorite place. Yeah, it's known as High Score and it's a detailed, I think, history of gaming. Please check it out. It's a really good thing and I would recommend you watch it. If you are a little bit of a fan of gaming also, I feel you should watch it. Also, that was actually it, I feel. I don't think I need to recommend anything more. In music, first of all, I would like to recommend a very, very, very favorite music piece from a very good video game, which is Max Payne 2. And the song is called Late Goodbye. It is by Poets of the Fall, who also have a very famous song known as Carnival of Rust. So I feel this is a music recommendation that I would suggest. Listen to Poets of the Fall. Listen to this song specifically, Late Goodbye. It's a great song. Also, another thing that I would recommend is that in the description below, I'd be putting a playlist of all songs from FIFA that I really enjoy. And if anybody has played FIFA, you know that the main lobby songs are something that even if I ask you in your sleep, you'll remember because they're so repetitive and some are so fucking good. Anyway, so go and check that playlist out. Those were my music recommendations, mainly Poets of the Fall and that playlist that I'm going to put down. I'm literally giving you all the recommendations firsthand. It's going to be a Spotify playlist, so please forgive me if you're not on Spotify. Please download Spotify if you're not on it. And basically that's it, guys. Thanks for being so patient. Thanks if you made it so far. I'm putting timestamps surely to help you guys out. And please guys, like and subscribe and share this video as much as you can. It's a very, very, very big help if you do. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for all the support. This was really good making this episode. I literally had to go back in time and think of all the things that I had to do, and that's why it's so much fun, because I get to do these things that I really, really enjoy. I got to talk about IPL, I got to talk about video games. Let's see what comes next. Thanks for joining in, guys. Thanks for being such a beautiful, lovely audience. Thanks for listening to my podcast. To all the audio listeners, thanks for hanging on. Thanks for listening. I'd suggest come to YouTube and let's give it a go, because the visual experience is also better. And if you're on audio platform, it's okay. Everything is just the same. So thanks for all the support. Thanks for everything. This is Ayan Pathak. You were listening to Some of My Jokes Don't Land. Bye bye.